I'm an adult with ADHD. I have dealt with this my whole life, and if you aren't familiar with ADHD, it's a medical condition because brain development and brain activity differ, which affects like our attention, the ability to sit still, and self-control. Can affect the child at home and in friendships. And that was from kidshealth.org. ADHD is one of the most common neurodevelopment disorders of childhood, and that was from the CDC. I write that because a lot of people have ADHD and they don't even know it. ADHD, that's what it is used to define it. But every medical condition, regardless if it's neurological or physical, people differ from person to person, regardless if you have the same virus or the way that you handle it. And this is me saying this as a nurse. Everybody is different on how they react to medication as well as benefits of medication. People live different lives and they live up in very different environments. There are similar traits in the way we go about daily tasks, but person to person, everyone is different. And the reason I made this video is my journey on YouTube didn't start with like solo camping. I have been solo camping for a couple years, and I would watch YouTube videos, like get ideas on how to make my trips better, and like that was it. But through all the solo camping trips, I started feeling better. My mental health was like improving. My body pain was getting better, and my skin and hair, because I've been like camping so much at the river. You know, I started doing like many more solo camping trips with watching YouTube videos inspiring me to go to like even more difficult locations. I was starting to go more, and that's kind of why I jumped on YouTube. If I could potentially make money on doing the things that I love, wouldn't that be a path worth taking? In the beginning, I was so unorganized. I didn't do like 100% of the research. It was just bits and pieces here and there. And if you have ADHD, this is exactly what we go through. I was learning as I went. You know, I didn't pre-plan. I was getting excited, then I would get exhausted, and then I would feel overwhelmed, then coming up with new ideas, and then I would learn more, and then I would get hyper focused, and then I would add more projects. And just to give an example, right now I'm studying for my contractor's license while simultaneously being a nurse, going on these trips, editing these videos, and planning my next adventure and thinking of new ways to entice the audience and living part of, you know, regular societal life. But all that to me is like the fun part. You know, the part that makes like everything go away is when like the momentum of the project like slows down. And I don't know if anyone's experienced this in YouTube. My first 2 weeks was like a hit. I was getting like 1,000 views a day, 1,500 views a day, and I was like, oh, for sure, I made it. But then literally within a day, my views just dropped. That's where like anxiety comes from, and like I start rushing things and I start even doing more things. In that time when like everything slows down, right, that's when I start to analyze everything. And if you have ADHD, you start analyzing everything, all the little bits and pieces that you like overlook. You start focusing on that, and then you just start like going down this like negative spiral of like doubt and like beating yourself up, and you're just like, man, I shouldn't have did this project or all the other projects. And you know, even though like you've done this a million times, and you remind yourself like, David, don't like try to do too many things at one time, like finish one thing and move on to the other. But with ADHD, you forget that. And then at the end of it, you're just like, oh, I have so many things I have to do. And then to get the hyper focus again, I don't know, sometimes you get it again and sometimes you don't. And then when you don't, everything just gets kind of like pushed to the side. So to like my neurodivergent viewers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. After the chaos of like disorganization, right? Even in like the anxiety, you learn from your mistake and you make changes of improvement, and then you hyper focus again. And this was the thing about YouTube, is that there is no end. There is no end of successful YouTubers that's gonna happen. There is no limit of like potentially great ideas. Seriously, everything can be potentially a money-making machine. You know, YouTube isn't what it was 10 years ago, because I remember when YouTube started around like, it's not 10 years ago, around like 20 years ago, no, 15 years ago. I remember when I was like 18, 15, that's when YouTube started getting popular. And back then, it was kind of a joke. We were like, look at these like wannabe celebrities. But if you really look at the analytics, we have to change the definition of YouTube. YouTube is literally a ATM machine from the big companies. As long as we know how to access the PIN code, YouTube right now is literally an ATM machine that pulls money from the big companies, because the big companies pays YouTube with ad, and that money, if we go on YouTube, literally comes to us. And that is something that people aren't realizing right now. If you don't jump on the YouTube bandwagon right now, you're gonna be too late. And everybody knows that all money is going into digital. All money is going into the internet, ad monetization on web pages of how well you could do search engine optimization and how well you are familiar with the web. That is something that people really need to realize. Regardless of what age you are in, you have to have some revenue from the internet. And if you don't, your cash is gonna run out. And that's a guarantee. And then how to access that pin code is knowledge. You have to really do your research. You really have to see where growth is happening and where growth is not happening. Jobs are declining, but money on the internet is growing. So do you want to go in the pool that's drying up, or do you want to go to the pool where they're filling it with water? So with everything said, within 1.5 months on YouTube now, I'm starting to learn. I'm starting to organize my files and making it more findable, and I'm on a schedule now. So it's not like a constant mode of rushing everything to the deadline, because popular fact about ADHD people is that we wait till the last minute and we get everything done. And that's the rush. And that's kind of like that dopamine chase that we're constantly after. So, and another big perk about YouTube videos is that we're allowed to schedule these videos. So even when we're not working, work is still being done. Like right now, I have a 5-day window where I don't have to do anything, but my videos are already scheduled to be uploaded with everything exactly like I would be. And that is like the whole process of automation. I really hope that one day we live in a society where all of us are automated, not because we're robots, it's because like our daily tasks are all done because they're paid for with like scheduled, constant flows of income. Because the videos are like scheduled every day, it's like it unknowingly brought like a calm to my everyday life. Like, oh, I don't have to work right now, but because I already did it, it's on a schedule, and that's like, it really helps my ADHD. That's why if you have ADHD like me, going on YouTube and like going on these solo camping trips will help your mental health like it did for me. So I really hope one day I'll be seeing a bunch of people with cameras by themselves and just like being out in nature and doing what they love and getting paid for it. That's the best part. Everybody needs money. So why would it be a bad idea to make money from the things you enjoy doing?